"You're a wizard, Harry." Those words have defined a generation and created a fervor for books that had not been seen for quite some time. People fell in love with the Harry Potter world and the characters in a way that had staying power. The books have become a part of the cultural landscape and the players known across the globe. With such attention still being showered on the boy who lived, it is no surprise that there is an extremely active fan community. This fandom is still going strong and has spawned numerous works and, of course, pairings. Who comes out on top in the pairing game is always fluctuating, but always floating near the top and sometimes having the top spot are Draco Malfoy and Harry Potter. This is Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy, and it's time to get to know the ship known as Drarry. The ship name is fairly recent, as ship names have only begun to gain popularity since the late 2000s. Before that, you would see monikers like Draco X Harry or Draco / Harry, so you can still find many works or fan arts with those tags and keywords, also on older archives, as there are many older and forgotten archives that still house a lot of works. But enough about that, on to the players. First up, we have Harry Potter, the boy who lived, surviving tragedy as an infant only to grow up abused and neglected before discovering that he is a wizard and one with a legacy and destiny. Harry is whisked away to Hogwarts, premier British wizarding school, and sorted into Gryffindor to explore a world he never knew existed and make some good friends and change the world along the way. On the flip side, we have Draco Malfoy, born into the wizarding elite of purebloods. Draco comes from a long line of Slytherins who believe in a purer, more streamlined wizarding world. He has spent his whole life seemingly with a silver spoon in his mouth and has a full knowledge of the wizarding world as well as the workings of power within it. The two start out as young boys at the age of 11 and grow up throughout the series, as each book represents a would-be year in the wizarding world, usually centering around Hogwarts, with one exception, making the boys 17 or 18 by the series' conclusion. I'm going to ignore the epilogue for now, more on why later. The two boys meet early in the first book and immediately get off on the wrong foot, because by that point, Harry has already heard all the gossip about Slytherin and the Malfoys from soon-to-be best friend Ron Weasley, and Draco's very arrogant manner rubs Potter the wrong way upon their first meeting, since he immediately identifies that Draco has bullying tendencies, and Draco is disappointed, expecting more of a boy who is essentially a legend in the wizarding world. Not exactly a meet cute, more like a meet ugly. The two are set up as instant rivals, and continue to be so throughout the majority of the series. So what is it that drew people to this pairing? While it was always prominent, it is said that following the release of Book 6, The Half-Blood Prince in 2005, there was an upswing in this pairing, due to Harry's increased fixation on Draco in that book, which included lines such as, "He was rapidly becoming obsessed with Draco Malfoy." However, in all honesty, Harry always took a lot of time out of his danger-fraught life to be obsessed with Draco. The two are opposites on the surface, from appearance to disposition. However, below the surface, there is a commonality between them. Neither are in control of their destinies, though while Harry is not fully aware of his and hence holds out some hope of changing it, Draco is aware of his chosen path, dictated by family history, and it traps him in despair that he hides under a veneer of arrogance and snark. So the two actually have a strong base for friendship if the circumstances of their lives as well as the expectations of others hadn't forced them apart. Harry also actually stalks Draco on several occasions, especially in Book 6, and is always concerned as to what Draco is up to, while Draco is always trying to find ways to make Harry's life miserable. A lot of this is set up due to the rivalry between schoolhouses Gryffindor and Slytherin, a rivalry that the school fully endorses. There are many jumping on points for this pairing and avenues to explore due to the nature of the Harry Potter universe, in that it lays down so many concepts it cannot fully explore all of them, and that is left up to fic writers and people who want to expand and explore the universe further to do so. For example, in the first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone depending on where you are, Harry is nearly sorted into Slytherin, but begs the Sorting Hat to put him in any other house. Had he been sorted into Slytherin, the entire landscape of that universe would look different, and Harry would have gotten a chance to meet and know the real Draco Malfoy, not the surface version. Side note, does anyone else have a problem with all the anti-Slytherin bias in these books, especially if you follow the logic? It's saying that you can determine who is going to be dark and shifty from the age of 11. Also, the built-in clique system in those houses must do wonders for teenage self-esteem, just saying. Since the books are for the most part from Harry's perspective, how Draco feels about Harry is only gleaned from his own point of view, and what he sees is someone determined to tear him down. As the books go on, it becomes clear that both Harry and Draco have a lot of anger and a lot of pain regarding not only their pasts, but the current course of their lives. The two spend so much time orbiting each other and have such magnetic personalities that you just know they have the unexplored potential to get along. They also have the potential to balance each other out nicely. Draco is more confident yet very cowardly, while Harry is brave but unsure of himself, and a little naive. The match of Gryffindor bravery with Slytherin cunning could be quite congenial, not to mention red and green are contrasting yet complementary colors, which is great for fan artists, just like the contrast between their light and dark hair. Fics about these two are widely ranged and can take place in any year, but now that all the books are out so new fans can read all of the series at once instead of having to wait for it to come out year by year, there has been an increase in continuations or alternate endings, which is why I brushed aside the epilogue, because many in the fan community do as well. Some of the reasons someone might do this is to give Draco and Harry a fresh start post-final battle, especially given Draco's change of heart and new paradigm that begins in Book 6 and continues on in Book 7. There are many hurt comfort stories dealing with PTSD, trauma, and just the shift in the wizarding world. To discuss Book 6 for a moment, there are some problematic elements for their relationship in there, to be honest, that could push people away from shipping them. Draco breaks Harry's nose quite brutally in the first few chapters, and Harry injures Draco very badly because of the Sectum Sempra spell, after he finds Draco crying in the washroom, which is just horrible, but brings up another reason why shipping may not be on the forefront of people's minds. Since these two do not have a healthy relationship, Draco is bullying Harry, no two ways around it. He is seeking him out and trying to make his life difficult, and Harry gives as good as he gets whenever possible. In canon, Harry genuinely dislikes Draco, as evidenced by the aforementioned attack, and if you have a history with bullying, this pairing may not be at all appealing. However, the nice thing about these novels is that they're so broad that you can take them in many different ways, and they are open to much interpretation based on your own personal experiences. Also, author J.K. Rowling is unique in that she is fairly open to alternate interpretations, or at least discussing them, even if she does not agree with them. She's very active in the fan community for her own work and is constantly adding to canon and discussing her own ideas for pairings in future works. For example, Rowling has been very open about the fact that she is not a fan of the Malfoy character, and she doesn't like the fact that he is a heartthrob and blames the casting of Tom Felton for that happening. Rowling is actually very interesting, as some feel that this makes her too involved in her work. Again, it's important to wonder about the role of the author. Despite being the creator of the canon work and its master, do they have full control over it? Most likely not, because they have no control over how people are going to interpret or receive their work. Whatever interpretations or meanings are intended, there is no guarantee that that's how the audience is going to view it. While some see Draco and Harry as enemies, others see them as friends who never got the chance to be so due to unfair circumstances. And both viewpoints are entirely valid and will be formed based on your relationship with the text, gained by your own unique life experience. Drarry is not for everyone, and it doesn't have to be, but for those who like star-crossed lovers or even antagonistic pairings, cause who said they had to love each other to be together? You can go to some very dark places with this, especially since their relationship isn't good in canon to begin with, and that's interesting too. Fiction is there to explore all kinds of concepts, not just the pleasant ones. The breadth of fiction for these two is so wide, if you can think of it, it's definitely happened out there, and if by some fluke it has not, get on that and fill that void. If you don't ship these two, you are not alone, and there are plenty of other avenues in this fandom to explore. So there are a lot of books here, and then the films on top of that, so we're not going to get into every instance of Draco and Harry interaction, because that would take quite a while. So I want to hear from you guys, what is your favorite or least favorite Draco and Harry moment? Let me know down below. Also let me know if you guys are Drarry shippers. Thanks so much for watching Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check out social media to stay up to date, and stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.